Welcome to Renovation Soul. I'm Gina Paris, and today what I'm going to be doing is painting the fabric on this chair with chalk paint. And this is the first time I've used chalk paint. It's not the first time I've painted fabric though. So this is something a little different for me. I'm painting it because the front of this chair has some stains, and you'll see that when I spin this around. So I'm going to get started. I've stirred my chalk paint. Today I am using Lewis Blue. Let's take my Lewis Blue Annie Sloan chalk paint. I'm going to put in a little container here. I don't know, just a little bit to get started. Wipe that off. I don't want to spill this. And I brought in a little bit of water, 4 ounces, just about what's 4 ounces, which is equivalent to what's in the little container. I'm just going to put a little water in here. I want this to be, let's see, grab a brush. I just want to get this consistency where I know it'll be absorbed into the fabric, just the top layer of the fabric. I think we're going to need more paint. I just want to thin this paint down. We're going to add a little more water. See, so far I've only added about an ounce. Go a little bit more. Now some people have told me to mix equal parts of water with chalk paint. In Annie Sloan's book, you can just mix it until you think you have the consistency that you want. I think I'm going to try this. All right, and I'm going to start on the back of this chair, just in case something doesn't turn out quite the way I want it to. It will be less noticeable on the back of the chair, because usually it's up against the wall in our home. So. So I'm going to go find a lid for this and rinse out my brush, and I will be back for the second coat. The feel, it's a little bit drier, a little bit stiffer, but I'm going to wax that in a few minutes. But first I want to take 220 grit sandpaper and just take it over to smooth this out a little bit, just in case there were any little raised areas that took paint too much and it became hard and stiff. And I want to see myself if it helps, you know, just soften this a little bit. I don't think it's going to soften it, but maybe it'll make it just a little more pliable. Right now it's hard to see on video, but it's still very flexible. It's not stiff because I didn't dilute the paint as enough with water initially on the back of the chair, so it is a bit stiffer, but took care of that on the front where it's most important. And I do see there's flexibility in the fabric, and I think this is going to work out fine. I'm hoping that when I apply the wax, it'll help give it a little bit more of a leathery feel, but we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll make it more pliable, flexible. So we're gonna see, but first I'm gonna sand it. Normally I would be wearing a mask, but since I'm on video, I'm not. And I'm not creating that much dust that I'm worried about it. So just do a little of this. And you can take your hand over the fabric. And actually I do this with any project that I'm sanding because I like to feel it and see if there's any rough areas that need attention. Maybe in these arm areas where I've maybe jammed a lot of paint in there. Feels pretty good to me. I think I'm gonna call it done, get out the wax, and start waxing. All right, here we are back with the chair that I've painted with chalk paint. Yes, the Annie Sloan chalk paint. And I've sanded it with a 220 grit block. And now I am ready to wax it. First, let me find the wax. All right, I bought this little pot of clear wax, Annie Sloan. I'm gonna try it. I have used wax in the past on painted projects in my patina finish class that I'm enrolled in. But this is the first time I've used Annie Sloan wax. It has a little bit more of an odor, and I don't actually particularly care for it. I used an inexpensive wax for my other projects. This does appear softer, so I want to give it a try. And what I have are two different tools here. I have a little sponge, and I also have a waxing brush. I'm going to try a little bit of it. I've scooped some wax out, put it in this little container. That way I don't have to keep trying to dip into the pot with this big brush or the sponge and contaminate anything. Notice I'm starting on the back of this chair because I've never used Annie Sloan wax before and I've never applied it to painted fabric before. So I'm going to start in an inconspicuous place, hence the back. And then I will work around to the front of the chair as well, and we'll get it all worked out before I'm finished, okay? I've read you apply a thin coat of wax. Now I've done this on other projects, like I've said, and you just keep building up the wax and buffing it in between. In my opinion at this point, this is a lot more work than using regular fabric paint. I'm willing to see what happens. I want to try it out. So let's get to it. Gonna just dab a little wax on here. Feeling that, I don't know, maybe I need a little more wax. Because this is fabric, I'm rubbing it a little bit harder. Oh, I can see on the camera. Right here is where the wax is going. I'm rubbing it a little bit firmer than I would on my other projects. I'm not worried about blending the paints or anything here. I just want to get it into the fabric. Is that weird if I look at the camera to see where I've waxed? Don't mind me. Wow, this really has a strong odor. I suppose I can tell that it's been waxed. Just a little bit. I don't know if you've ever felt wax before, but it has a little bit of a waxy feeling. Now the reason for this wax is because this is the finish for the chalk paint. Okay, that's feeling pretty good. Seems like I've got it all waxed up. I'm going to do a second waxing to ensure that I covered everything that didn't get covered in the first coat. All right. So for now, that is done. Now I do want to say I don't know about this piece of furniture. It depends on how much I use it and where it's going to go. But when you wax a piece of furniture, it will need to be reapplied over time because the wax wears off. So that's another consideration in using chalk paint. All right, taking a break. I will meet you back here for the next step. Got the second coat of wax on, and it's feeling waxy. So I believe it needs a little more time to dry and not feel so waxy. Actually, some of it feels pretty good. The upholstery is making a little bit of a noise when I rub my hand across it. However, it is still flexible, springy, so I think that's going to be all right. And I'm putting my arm on here, and it's not going to bother me to touch it. So I'm going to take the tape off now. So I think it's time to paint this. And I'm not going to use chalk paint. I am going to use casein paint that I will mix myself. So the next few videos will be of me painting this woodwork, and we'll see how this chair turns out. I wasn't sure where I was going to put it, but I think it's going to go in my front entry when it's all finished. So meet me back here for a little more renovation soul.